since 2006, when we did the merger with Scotland and the two offices in Edinburgh and Glasgow. I've probably been asked by guys like yourself more times than I can remember, what are you going to do in the northwest? You've got Leicester, Nottingham, Birmingham, and then you get to Edinburgh, Glasgow. There's a big gap between the two. What plans have you got? And we've always said we haven't got any plans, but obviously if opportunities did arise, like all opportunities, we would look at them on a value basis, and if we felt it was the right thing to do, we would move them forward. So I've certainly never made it a secret that if something did crop up in the northwest, we would be interested, and I've told enough journalists, hopefully, that put it in articles that people go, if anything happens, maybe I'll pick the phone up to HJB Gately Waring. It didn't happen like that, though. On this occasion, I was at lunch with our auditors, who showed me the Chambers article on Halliwells, which was largely around the property and the transaction terms for that property in Spinningfields. And they'd largely said that to me because we did our own property in Birmingham in 2003. We moved in here. This was a brand new building that we'd had built for us, and we did ultimately make a profit on the building, and we distributed that to partners very much as the Halliwells partners had done up in Manchester. So it was the nuances of all of that and the intricacies of it that was of interest. So I read the article, and it didn't sound very good at all, really. It sounded like the firm was in trouble. And there'd been some rumours probably 12 months earlier. So I sent that article round our board and said, interesting, what are you thinking, what I'm thinking? Because we obviously knew Halliwells and have had dealings with them in the past, where mutual client interest, etc. We'd actually spoken to them, had one meeting, no more than 2 hours, in about 2006, after the merger in Scotland, where we'd got a little bit of national profile, and we went to the meeting for 2 hours and just generally chewed over what they were thinking of doing, what their plans were regarding the future. A lot of it was around the Legal Services Act and the opportunities for law firms and capital injection, and they certainly at that point in time in 2006 had an intention to be the first law firm to float. So we listened to what they said and we listened to their ideas, and following that meeting we felt, nice people, like the business. The idea of a float sounds a little bit too uncertain from our perspective. Maybe we should keep in touch, but nothing there to start with. Never kept in touch really, but they did other things, and they did acquisitions and Cuff Roberts in Liverpool, etc. So they were on their own tack, but at least we'd registered the fact that we knew the firm, liked the people, quality business, etc. So when that came up, I just did that note, are you thinking what I'm thinking? To which I had a couple of phone calls back, interesting sort of thing. But before we'd even got that thought process moving or doing anything about it, there then was the news item that they'd served this notice of intention to appoint an administrator. So we immediately registered our interest with the administrator, not really knowing what that meant or where it would lead to. But within about 48 hours we got a phone call that they'd like to talk.